As you can see, I've taken over my wife's kitchen. Today, I'm making green enchiladas. Green enchiladas are my favorite kind to eat, and folks, down here around San Antonio, if you say green enchiladas, you're talking about chicken enchiladas. So this is a green chicken enchilada. It is a fantastic meal. It's chicken enchiladas, not with the red sauce, but with the green sauce. I'm gonna show you how to make a green tomatillo sauce that's wonderful on top of these enchiladas. I think you'll like it, so stick around, come see how I cook down the chicken, how I roll these enchiladas, and this wonderful tomatillo green sauce that I put on top of it. So come on over here, let me show you how we make green enchiladas. You have found Texas style barbecue and cuisine. I am Chef Johnny. We cook a lot of different things here. I tell you what, we do a lot of barbecue, Mexican food, seafood, Dutch oven cooking, so a lot going on. A lot of it's cooked outside. If you like outside cooking, or you like just good down-home Texas eating, you're in the right place. Hit that subscribe button. Click the notification bell so you know every time I put up a new video. We put up new videos every week. So you want to drop back by and see those. But come in close. I'm going to show you how we start off making this tomatillo sauce. Let's get started here. You can see I have a new cutting board today. That's Texas style cuisine on it. Got this in from haleyhome.com. I'll put a link down below for them. You can go over there, shop. Their cutting boards are beautiful. They sent me this one, folks, just to show off for them. So just let y'all know that up front. But it is a beautiful cutting board. I also got a code down there for a discount. If you want to purchase one, you can get a discount by putting, I think, Texas barbecue in there is the code, but I'll put the code down below also. And what we're gonna do today is we're gonna get our onion diced up, our serranos, and these are our tomatillos. Now I have 2 pounds of tomatillos. If you've never seen them before, I wanna kind of show you what these look like. I'm gonna open it up, pull the husk off. This is not a tomato. A lot of people think they're tomatoes, they're not. Just take your thumb and kind of pop that off right there. And now we have our little tomatillo. If I was making salsa, I would pull that stem out. Not doing it today because we're going to boil these down to their tender and blend them up. You'll never know what's in there, so that's fine. I'm going to take the tomatillo over, rinse it off, get it with the other ones, and I'll show you all my ingredients I'm putting in. Normally I'll use white onions. We're all quarantined, folks, so you know we're stuck at home, so I had yellow onions here today, so I've got 1 great big one. Usually I'll use 2 medium whites, but this will work fine. Now, y'all don't need to see me quarter up this onion. I'm just going to quarter it up, maybe a little bit smaller, and once I get that done, I'll get back with you and show you the next step. Here's my tomatillos. 2 pounds of them in there. I got that big onion. It's going in. And it's just quartered up. I think I didn't quarter that one real good. I'm gonna go another time with it. But just break it down. This recipe calls for fresh garlic. I do not have fresh garlic. So normally I put my garlic in now, about 4 or 5 cloves. Gonna hold off, we're using powdered garlic in that. And then 2 serranos. Like I said, if you want it hotter, using it for something else besides enchiladas, you might want it a little bit hotter. But 2 Serrano peppers. I recommend using serranos. Cut it back to 1 if you can't take the heat, or a half. But keep that flavor in there. Serrano has a good flavor. Now, on top of that, I have 2 cups of water going in. This is ready. We're gonna go put it on the stove. It's on the stove, have it on high heat, and we're gonna leave it on high heat. We'll turn it down a little bit and put a lid on it. We're gonna cook this till it gets tender. And you can look, the thing I've already got done is, there is my chickens cut now. I have 2 whole chickens. We're gonna be saving some of the meat for that. Part of it will go in these chicken enchiladas or our green enchiladas. So let's get these 2 things cooked. We'll get back with you. I think now I'm gonna show you how to make a red sauce that we're gonna eat with these enchiladas. Let's get this red sauce together. We're gonna serve with our meal tonight. I'm dropping our onions first. I've got 1 onion chopped up, fairly small dice, just a kind of a rough chop on it. I like a white onion. This happens to be a yellow because that's what's in the house tonight. So I'm gonna put that in there. I've got 2 jalapenos. I'm gonna go ahead and dice these up a little bit before I put them in. So I'm gonna leave the seeds in. I'm just gonna take the top off. Top's off. And I cut these down the middle so that I got halves. Then I can come back open it up, and I'll cut thin slivers just like this. Now these are going to get diced up some more in the processor. I don't want anybody to get a big chunk of pepper, so I cut it into little thin slivers and then dice it kind of small. Pick up my jalapeno. Again, if you don't want it too hot, leave a little bit out. Only use one. So now, jalapenos go in. Since I don't have 2 cloves of garlic today, I'm going to put in 2 teaspoons. And I'm going to go ahead and I am going to blend this up just a little bit, or process it. Lid's on, just pulse it around. I want to cut those onions up a little bit. That's looking pretty good. Let's get in our tomatoes. This is a 1 28-ounce can of petite diced tomatoes. I'm going to add the juice of 1 lemon. And folks, if you want to get a detail of how I do this, I do have this video up. I'll put a link to it down below so y'all can go watch the whole video on making this red sauce. Next thing going in is a 1/2 teaspoon of sugar. And I'm going to have a whole teaspoon of salt. Next thing is going to be is our cilantro. It's always the last thing to go in. And got a nice bunch of fresh cilantro here. I'm going to take about half of the leaves. This is one of those instances you do not want the stem because they're tough, and we're not going to blend this enough to take out those tough stems. We're going to check our tomatillo sauce. It's cooking good. Let's see, the tomatillos, they're nice and tender. Check those onions. Onions aren't quite tender enough yet. So, I'm going to go just a little bit longer. It's been about 25 minutes, so for another 5 or 10 minutes, and I think this tomatillo sauce will be ready to get off. Time to make our tomatillo sauce. Got everything out of our container. Could use a food processor. I like this, make sure it's blended real good. So I usually use the blender instead of the food processor. Be careful, the liquid's hot. All right, so there, lid's on. Give it a stir. Move it down here so y'all can see. To put in our seasonings, I got 2 teaspoons of salt, 1 teaspoon of pepper, teaspoon of cumin, tablespoon of garlic. Remember, we didn't have fresh garlic, so we have the can. Now, put it up on top. Let's blend it. And we should have a nice thick sauce here. Look at that. That's what we're looking for right there. Give it a taste. Oh yeah, that's good. Well, you can see we're starting to shred up our chicken here. And just take your bird, your fork, and it'll really pull right off the bone. See that? That's what you want. Get that skin out of there. This chicken still is pretty hot, but we want to separate the skin from the meat. And then just bring that meat off of the bone. There's our kill bone right there. Move it over here out of the way. Our skin out of the way, and then you can just start putting your chicken down on your board. See right there? If you wanted to let this cool more and chop it, hey, it works great chopping also. Y'all let me debone these 2 birds, and then we will start making enchiladas. So see you in a minute. Let's start rolling enchiladas. I'm going to take my tortillas. If you see them here, I've had them soaking in the broth that we got off of our chickens. Now, traditionally, what would we do? We'd soft fry them in oil first, but just to get some of the oil out of our diet, right? You got to soak them a little while just where they get tender. If it's warm, it'll happen a little bit quicker. But what I do is I take my enchilada, put in some of my chicken. Now, a lot of people do not put cheese inside their chicken enchiladas. I do. And the other thing I do is I take some of the peppers and onions that were cooked down in that sauce or in that stock. I drop those in there also. A little bit of cilantro's in there with it that way. If you do this with, say, red bell peppers. Looks real pretty in there. Then I just take a little bit of cheese. Doesn't take a whole lot inside. And we're going to roll these. Let me turn this one around. Since it's tore on this edge, I'm going to tuck this edge, but you roll it over. Get it right there, and you want to tuck it. And when you tuck it, then you can roll it the rest of the way. And now it can go in our pan with the seam side down. So let's put it in our pan. Now I'm going to tell you, these will crack a little bit. They're not as good as doing it in oil. Oil's much better, keeps them much more tender, but cut some of the oil out of the way we make these. Going to put in some shredded chicken, some of our peppers and onions and cilantro going up on top of that. A little Monterey Jack cheese. Fold your tortilla all the way over. Draw it back. Tuck it. Roll it up. There's just another enchilada ready to go into the pan. It's time for our tomatillo sauce. So I'm just gonna cover them nicely with it. There we go. Enchiladas are covered with tomatillo sauce. Gonna get some shredded Monterey Jack cheese up on top. I'm gonna put these in a 350-degree oven for about 30 minutes. We just want to melt the cheese, kind of brown it. All this is cooked and it's all still very warm from being cooked, so I'm not real worried about it, but we want to just brown the cheese, maybe get it where it's kind of, the sauce is boiling just a little bit. See it bubbling through, and we'll know these are ready. So let's get these in the oven. Enchiladas are out of the oven, looking really, really good. I'm going to kind of turn them this way here. And that's hot. That's why I'm using the plate instead of my hand. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to pull out a couple of these enchiladas. Look here. Ooh, man. I got cheese running everywhere. Let me see that knife there. See if we can drop those onto the plate. There is some green enchiladas. Let me show you how I fix these up. Let's see here. I'm gonna take some red sauce. Drop it right there in the middle. Some of our sour cream. Dollop on top of the red sauce. There we go. Like that. So, enchiladas came out great. Hope y'all enjoyed it. This is the way we like them. We call them green enchiladas. It's just known that green enchiladas is chicken. That's just kind of the standard around here. But we're going to give these a try. Before we do, just remember, make your tomatillo sauce. Salsa recipe's easy. I'm gonna put links for the salsa recipe so you all can find it down there. Remember also how to make the shredded chicken. If you don't want to make your own shredded chicken, buy a rotisserie chicken. You can make this up really good. It's simple. The tomatillo sauce is easy, but let's give these a try and see how they turned out. And yes, I know they're not on my diet, but I don't make green enchiladas very often. I haven't had any in 8 months, so I'm going to do a taste test on these, and it's going to be a big taste test. The only thing I would say is watch your serranos. You know, you might want to do 1 instead of 2. If you're not much on heat, do a half. But this tomatillo sauce is fantastic. These enchiladas are great. I'm going to have these 2 for supper tonight. First tortillas I've eaten since mid-August. All right, it is now mid-April or late April, so it's been a while, but very good. Get a little bit of the sour cream with it, and the salsa that we made goes great with this dish. You get that tartness in the tomatillo with just a little bit of heat, a lot of flavor in that chicken. By adding the peppers and the onions in there that cooked with them, you keep some moisture in on that chicken. It helps. A little cheese in there helps also, and then of course cream this. If you get a little avocado, you can make guacamole with it. But this is a great plate. This is the way we do them here in South Texas. kind of San Antonio standard. I judge Mexican restaurants by how good their green enchiladas are, and there's one that I say are as good as mine. But anyways, thanks for stopping by Texas Style Barbecue and Cuisine. I always do appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Check out my red sauce video and check out the shredded chicken video so you know how to do the chicken. But it's wonderful. I hope y'all enjoyed it, and we're going to see y'all down the road on Texas Style Barbecue and Cuisine. So long, everybody. Have a great evening.
How them boys put food away beats all I've ever seen.